So our next project, very easy. It's a little pine shaker style shelf with 2 pegs. There you go, very easy, very small. It measures approximately 14 inches across the top and 7 inches deep. That will be ideal in a kitchen, a bathroom, just somewhere to hang simple things. It uses basic tools. There's a couple of rebates here, so that's a 1 inch router cutter just to do those two, there and there, and this back piece here is held in with 2 pocket screws. I'll just show you the back of that. Very easy. I could knock this up in less than an hour. I'm sure you could. A very easy little project. I've made quite a few of these. Let's just have a quick look over here. This is basically what you're going to need. You're going to need a piece of 5x1, 30 inches long, and a piece of 2x1, about 11 inches long. That's it. 2 pegs, and you've got yourself a nice shelf. I've used a Craig pocket hole jig. You don't need a bench mounted one like this. You can get a very simple one. Just clamp it on with a small clamp. We're going to use a router with a 3/4 inch straight bit. That's to cut these two. And we're going to use a straight bit with a, if you look at the end there, with a bearing guide on the end. Now then, because I've made quite a few of these, I made a template, and you might think that's a bit over the top, but believe me, if you make a template like this, it makes it so much easier, and you can have these knocked out in no time. If you look, there's 2 screws through here. One goes through there and comes out the other side, just sticks out a couple of millimeters there. I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, oh, there you can. And the same one goes through from this side, sticks out there. And same there. One from that side, one from that side. You might think, what's that for? Well, if you put that on your timber, get it square at the back, there, square at the front, press it down, the 2 pins, locate it into this bottom timber, draw around it with a pencil. You've then got an easy shape to cut round. But you think that, oh, that's a bit over the top. But you can, once you've cut them out rough with a jigsaw, we're then going to use the round over bit in a table mounted router to trim this piece to perfectly match that, and we can do it in seconds. So if you wanted to make these commercially, these are going on eBay. You can get that on eBay, 20 quid. And the timber, that piece of wood, cost 80p. This piece, 20p. A pound's worth of timber there, a couple of pegs, 50p each. £2 of timber, and that's going on eBay for 20 quid. You could make money at this game. So, first job is, we're going to draw around our template, cut it out rough. So we have our wood. The first thing we're going to do is draw around the template and then cut it out on the bandsaw. So here we have our 2 blanks. There's nothing like the shape of the final piece. You can see they're a few millimeters over the line, but like I say, the router will soon trim that off and there'll be an exact copy of this. So as you can see, we've got our template mounted on our workpiece. We've got the bearing guide higher than the workpiece. If you look there, the whole of the cutter is cutting on the work, and the bearing will be running on the template. and we'll just feed it through like that the whole way around. One thing you've got to be very careful of, when you're feeding wood into a table mounted router, your hands are going to be very close to this, and if as you first feed it in, there's a chance that this could snatch and grab and your fingers could end up in the cutter, or at the very least you could damage your workpiece. So what you need to do is mount onto your table a pin or a guide that you can put your workpiece up against, gently feed your wood in, and then away you go. You'll find it a lot easier. So that's the next stage. We're going to make this cut and we'll see that we have an exact replica of the template. So our next piece we're going to make is the top. This is 14 inches long, so we're going to cut that on the crosscut saw. Right, our next cut are these two channels, one here and one here. And these are 7/8 of an inch wide, and we're going to cut those with a 7/8 straight router cutter. I've set the height of the router cutter to half the depth of the timber, and I'm going to use this sled on the table. Put my workpiece in. You can see this is one I've done earlier. Put my workpiece in, ride it over and make the cut. So that's our next cut. These are at 10 1/4 inch centres, these two groups. Next we need to cut this piece of wood, the backing piece for the two pegs, and that's 9 3/8 across there. Do that on the cross cut saw. Okay, we're near the end now. We've got our basic shape. It needs to have a good sanding now. I've always found these perfect for that. Foam blocks, you can get them in medium, fine and coarse. Just use a fine one. It's only go around these curves. The flat parts, just get rid of the sand. That's the next step, give it a good sand. So, there we are, that's our project complete. Lovely little shelf, really easy to make. I can knock these up in an hour, like I say earlier. And especially with the template guide. With this guide it just makes it so much easier. If you were making these commercially, wanted to sell them, I would definitely recommend getting a template. How would you finish this? Because it's a softwood, I think it really needs to be painted. What I would do is give it a dark base coat, like a deep red or a brown, and then paint a lot lighter coat on top, like a pale blue, pale green, or white even. And because it's that shaker style, I'd rough the corners up so that some of the darker colour came through. Just scuff them up a bit, especially around the wear points, around the pegs, around the corners, around the edges. When that's all dry, give it a coat of clear wax, and they look really nice. And like I say, you sell those no problem. So there we go, simple project. Thank you very much for looking.